Only the brave know how to forgive. It is the most refined and generous pitch of virtue human nature can arrive at.
I totally agree with Lawrence Tan, because forgiveness can be such a mouthful. Is it possible to forgive?
According to me, I think it depends. Yeah.
We're going to find out. Welcome. Today we are talking about second chance. Karibu. Every one of us deserves a second chance. For us to understand this, we have a resident guest, Tabby. Tabby again is alone today, but you said Richard has gone for some work duties.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi guys, how are you?
Karibu sana.
Nice to see you. Always looking
Hi,
sharp.
Tabby. How are you?
I'm good.
Did you pass our message to Richard?
Yes, he definitely misses you people so much. He can't wait to come back again.
Okay.
Praying
Yeah.
for him.
Thank you.
We'll give him a second chance. when he
I
comes
like that. I like that. I
So,
like
Tabby, today we are talking about second chance.
Sure, yeah.
And you see, we still have this seat here.
Yeah.
They are going to be occupied by Martin and Nancy.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Martin and Nancy have been married for the last 15 years.
Oh, okay. Great.
Blessed
Great.
with 2 children, boy and girl.
Thank you so much.
See you.
How are you?
Karibu sana. Welcome
So much.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Karibu. Feel at
Nancy,
home. Karibu sana.
welcome.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the place to be.
I love it. It's
Second
beautiful.
chance. Yes. Let's have our seats
Okay.
and see how we can go about this.
Wow. How are the kids doing?
They're fine.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's nice.
They said hi,
Oh, they did.
and thank you for the fruits.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
And thank you for this book.
Sure, sure.
Yes, thank you
Yeah.
for this book. It's
It's a book
important.
that has
And that
really
is the
helped.
basis of our discussion today.
Yeah.
We are talking about second chance. Second chance can also be termed as forgiveness.
Right.
So what is this second chance? Meaning there was a first chance. Martin, what is
Yes.
second chance?
In fact, it's like you said what I wanted to put across. I don't want to labor with many words to qualify my definition. Second chance is simply forgiveness. Yes,
Simply
that's my
forgiveness.
understanding. Yes,
So, forgiveness.
yes.
Forgiveness. When does forgiveness come?
When something has gone wrong, yeah, between 2 or more people, so that is when forgiveness comes in. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it requires, or it happens when something wrong happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Let us first of all start with a biblical perspective. Then now we come down to the real situation on the ground.
Sure.
What does the Bible say, or what understanding do we have on forgiveness in relation to the Bible?
Yeah, I found Jesus talking about forgiveness. And in fact, the threshold that he gave, I think is just beyond our understanding. Because in the book of Matthew 18:21, Peter and other apostles or other disciples are like they want Jesus to tell them, how many times should I forgive a friend or when offended? And then Jesus is saying to Peter, that is in verse 22. No, not 7 times, answered Jesus, but 70 times 7. How possible is it to sit down and begin recording
To count. It's
till you
First.
get?
Second.
yeah.
Hey, it's just simple. It is like limitless. You have to forgive always. And while we were yet sinners, Christ himself died for us. We didn't even know how to rescue ourselves from that. We were even ignorant. We could not even ask for forgiveness, but he forgave us. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad that we are talking about forgiveness, but there is this other aspect of forgiveness. What exactly do I forgive? Even as we talk about other examples of the Bible. Look at the story of Cain and Abel. Was that forgiveness from God? Did God give Cain a second chance?
God is always a faithful God. And when he tells us in the Bible that if you ask for forgiveness, he gives you much more abundantly. So he's a God who has his grace. They say grace is unmerited favor. God combines love and grace. Yani, he forgives you completely. That's the God that we serve.
Sure.
So as human beings, he also encourages us to emulate what he did. Meaning whatever Christ passed through, whatever things he experienced, by the way, he was in human flesh and he was able to do that. So it's not so hard for us to still also copy, even though sometimes you feel like it's not possible.
It definitely takes Jesus.
Yeah.
Because when somebody really breaks your heart, Dave, and you just decide, hey, you know what, I'm forgiven you, it's not that easy. Let's just call a spade a spade. It takes God. It takes God so that at least when you have God, even the most impossible will be very possible. Yes.
Yeah.
If your husband cheats on you, if there's a disease that has come in the house, how are you even able to forgive? You know, such scenarios.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we are coming to that,
Okay.
but I want to ask Nancy.
Yes.
The story of David, Uriah, and Bathsheba.
Right.
Again, there is
I
still
know.
forgiveness. What do you think about that?
For them, I think since we were forgiven by God, I don't think if there's something which is difficult for anybody, a sin that is difficult for anybody to forgive. So I think even for them, they had that heart to forgive. Yeah.
Okay. Tabi, you mentioned something, and I'm coming back to you. But before that, Martin, you wanted to...
So like I wanted to ask whether forgiveness is a process or it can be instant. Yeah.
It
From-
depends.
from
I think
your
we mentioned,
argument.
that is one thing that we
Yes.
talked about. There's some things that somebody will do for you, or to you, sorry, and you instantly forgive. But there's some, it is actually a process. Let's call a spade a spade. Yes. If
But,
somebody
so
says
interesting,
hurtful
yes.
words, for example,
Sure.
and you'll be like, you know what, probably
That's
that
our-
person was having a bad day, or probably that person was just hurting in one way or the other. You know, there are people, when they hurt, they find the next available person to hurt. So you'll be like, "Ah, you know what, I have other things to worry about. Let me just forgive and forget. But somebody comes and kills your child. Somebody comes and steal all the, for example, you have business. Somebody comes and steal everything. You know, you not just decide, you know what, my son has been killed. Let me forgive that person.
Okay.
You know, it's a process.
And I
and
realize
what,
it should be genuine.
Yes.
Yeah, if it is so paining to you, you still, it's like you can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Then you have to stop and, in other words, try to see
Yeah.
whether it is a genuine one from your heart,
Right.
whether the pain has gone down,
Right.
whether you are ready to accommodate your brother or your sister who's offended you. But
Because-
there
yeah.
are those, at
Yeah.
times, there are
Yeah.
those who pronounce it, just
Yeah.
say it by mouth,
Th-
while it's
that's-
not that genuine.
When you're forgiving, you're not forgiving for that person.
Sure.
You're forgiving for you.
Sure.
Yeah.
And again-
we are coming to that because
let me-
they are the effect of not forgiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
But before we go there,
Let me pinpoint something
Yes.
before you go there. At times, we use words
Right.
when we talk to people.
Hurtful.
And I always say words are very powerful.
Correct.
Sure.
And again, once you've said something, you cannot reverse it. So sometimes you might hurt someone,
Just
and that thing, anyway, we have been biologically designed to have something called the mind, the memory. And when you do something, the work of the memory is to give you back
yeah.
whatever you put in your mind or your brain. So it's like you reflect. So the words will always come because
true.
that's our human nature. That's
Yeah.
how we were built. So before someone reaches that point, we will see.
now
Yes.
the question that is coming in,
Yeah.
and I want to start with you.
Yes.
What should be forgiven? What should be forgiven? There are words,
Yeah.
there are instances that you just forgive.
Yeah.
You just forgive.
Yeah.
Maybe that person had a bad day. Especially words. Someone may say something that they really don't mean.
Yeah.
But even at this point, we just want to tell our viewer that your words, you need to sieve your words, because when you say it, you will not be able to take it back.
Sure.
Yeah.
Its effect has already gone. Just like the Bible says that the word of God comes down and it has to do its work. So, are there things that we can forgive, while others that we can forgive, yes, but we give it some time?
Maybe Dave, she can tell us from her from just a practical example, even from her house. What is it that Martin has done that she was
But
like, you know what?
you can start from outside
Yes.
as you get into the
Or you
house.
can-
Because
yeah.
I think, okay.
Yes, I think there is no way I can divide forgiveness that this person has wronged me, so I'll forgive him, and maybe the other person has wronged me and I cannot forgive the person. I think since we were forgiven, we also should have that in what? We should have that forgiveness from inside. Maybe somebody may speak of something. He tells me something that when I look at the person,
Yeah.
I get offended.
Yeah.
So I'll just meditate upon what the person said, then I forgive the person. Yes. Even in our house, when I get offended maybe with my husband, yes, I'll just look at what made us get offended, maybe what he said that wronged me, what he did for me that wronged me. Then I weigh and forgive. I can forgive.
Yes, that is now what we are talking about.
Yeah.
This way,
What
this.
is it?
Yeah,
Yes.
you see,
Thank you for bringing that,
yeah.
Nancy.
you see, what happens when you hurt me, it depends with the degree that the pain has caused to me. There are others, maybe you come and step on my toe, then I say it's okay. Then I get someone maybe rapes me.
Sure. How do you forgive
How
that
do I
person?
forget this person? You want me to sit down with this person and maybe forgive this person. I think now it depends with the extent and the weight of the heart.
Yeah.
So that's where, yeah, now and that one again, it will take time. Maybe for me to heal from that case of a rape case, it will take me time. But for this one, you step on me, it's okay. I've accepted. But that other one, I think it at times takes time, or a process or a period of time for someone maybe to even get over
Yes.
the hurt.
Think about it,
Yeah.
Nancy. You
Yes.
have taken your time to cook very nice food, and one reason or the other, you maybe put a lot of salt. And your husband comes home and he's like, what is all this? You know, it really breaks our hearts,
Yeah,
right?
and I get discouraged.
Exactly. And at the back of your mind, you're like, you know what? He's playing with me, huh? Next time I'll put, well, that was not like the,
Yeah.
but do you forgive such, you know, because you've taken your time to cook. You've taken your time to serve him well, and he's not even appreciative. He's throwing hurtful words to you. You understand? So do you forgive such? Do you hold it?
Now, very good, ladies.
Yeah.
Thank you. And if you notice, the men were keenly listening.
Sure.
That
In fact, I thought she would mention a number of issues I always bring
You can remind her.
to our offense. No, not really. I'm safe on that side.
Second chance.
That's a second chance to me.
Yeah.
so it is clear that there is instant forgiveness,
Yes.
and then there is this other one that takes time.
It will take time.
So during this time, during this period, what is happening? Because there is a case here of rape,
Yeah.
and I only even
Or
want to
someone
bring
kills
in more a case of unfaithfulness,
Oh, yeah, that breaks people's
violence,
Yeah.
and you see,
a case study of one of the scenarios that happened in Rwanda, the genocide. Imagine, like there was someone who was sharing her story that she saw the person who killed the husband.
Yeah.
And again, they come in a church where they are meant to sing. They were in the choir. They sang together, and they were the same people who betrayed them. They were the ones who were coming after them. And she's saying that she had to come to a level where she forgave this person who killed the husband.
Thanks God.
So that they could even talk. So it took time. So the degree, I strongly believe that the degree of the heart will determine the time. And you knowing Jesus.
And Brother Dave, to me, the period between the time you are offended and the time you are forgiving, I'm seeing it as very delicate and very devastating. Because it is the point, or it is the period at which you can either decide to forgive or not to forgive forever.
True. That's true.
And you see, when you don't forgive, it also hurts you.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, it hurts you. So to me, I think during this period, we need friends.
Support.
We need, in fact, support from every sort, from every walk of life, so that we come to that realization and
You
forgive.
seem like you're reading my mind, because I wanted to add, at that point, let me
Yes.
bring in a practical example of
Yeah, sure.
unfaithfulness. There's a case here. You are married, maybe the first 1 year, then words come to you that you see your husband was married previously and had a child. There is another lady, and then you have to confront this.
Yes.
And when you do, you realize that this is something that you cannot easily let go. Friends, family, even church members. What role do they play in such scenarios?
Both negative and positive. Yeah, because there's someone who will tell you, me, I think I will move. I can't stay in this place. Someone will tell you, just accept, and that child maybe didn't come in. He or she didn't write a letter to come. So he doesn't, or she doesn't have that mistake. It's not hers or his. So, like, just accept. But someone will also advise you that you need to live like yesterday. You can't stay in that place.
But
so it will get both positive and negative.
The example
at
that
time.
you've given, sincerely, if I was a sober woman, if Richard had a baby before we got married, it's a different scenario compared to when he has a baby when we are married. You
Okay,
understand?
let's bring that one.
Yes.
Did he disclose that to you before
Did
you
he?
got
No,
married?
Yes.
no, let us bring this one.
Yes.
And thank you for even bringing that complicated one,
Yeah.
because it is getting complicated. Linda and I have been
Yes.
married for 13 years.
Yes.
Next month, Linda gets a call. Or even after this show, Linda gets a call and she's like, hey, you know what?
Copy and paste.
Well, in fact, they are already
Take a picture and throws it to Linda's WhatsApp. Copy paste.
Yes.
Mimi kabisa. And then she's like,
This is Dave's baby.
how is my co-wife? These things happen.
Yeah,
They do.
that's still happening.
These things
In
happen.
the Christian homes.
In the Christian homes, and that is why we are sitting here.
And we are
even
giving
violence.
hope.
And even violence.
Giving hopes.
Yes,
Oh, it's
and
okay.
even violence.
Thank you.
Someone just slaps you. That one slap will lead to another one.
Yeah.
You remember what Jesus said? If you're slapped on this side, you turn this other side. So how then do we take advice from our friends, family members, and even churchmates? Bearing in mind that there are people who will sit back, majority will sit back and start pointing fingers.
Dave,
saying,
before I come to you,
Yes.
before I come to you for advice, I already know what I want. Sincerely.
Yeah,
Most
but
of the
you just want
times,
to see
I'm
opinion,
just coming
yeah.
to listen to what you want to say.
To confirm.
But by the time I'm coming to you, I already know, like, hey, you know what, Richard broke my heart? Richard is my husband. Richard broke my heart and I want to leave him. So I'll just come to Linda and say, guess what Richard did? Richard has a baby. And now another thing that I'll still mention. We also have different types of friends. I would advise my viewer to really choose their friends very carefully. Because there are people who are catalysts. They will want to make the situation worse. So I'll come to Dave and Linda, for instance, and I think Dave and Linda will definitely support me and say, hey, what are you still doing in that marriage? Get out, wear your sneakers and run. I'll go to Martin and they'll be like, you know, mistakes happen, and you know. I would be like, okay, now which side do I lean? You know? So even as friends and relatives are there, we already have made up our mind what we want. So if we want to leave, for example, we'll just be hearing. We're just listening to affirm what we...
What we already
Yeah. And then when, for example, I decide to leave Richard, I'll come and blame you again. Like, you know what? It's them and Linda who advised me.
That is how devastating it is when we don't forgive.
Nancy,
Yes.
what do you think? This scenario where, okay, how would you advise someone who is involved in a violent kind of relationship? Not as the Christian Nancy, but Nancy who is married to Martin.
Yes.
Yes.
If the person comes for an advice
Yes.
from me,
Yes.
yes.
Forget about the cameras. Let's
Be yourself.
No, first, if the first person comes to me, we'll sit down, then we talk, he or she explains to me what inspired, how it started. Then from there, you will advise the person, maybe if it was the first time for the person, you just encourage the person, you give us some examples, maybe in your personal life. Then from there, you tell the person, just wait and forgive.
Second
'Cause yes, you have to wait first.
Yeah.
But forgiveness, because forgiveness comes from inside. Maybe the person was much offended. That will take the person time to forgive. He'll just forgive the person, they move on, but backwards, she will still remember the issue. Yeah,
But
but
we have cases of violence where people the violence has even led to death.
yes.
Yeah? You understand? So as much as I really want to, be that Christian, I mean, let's be practical. At the end of the day, I will advise you, hey, Nancy, just forgive, you're a Christian. And Martin keeps on beating you every day. Every day, one time you have your eyes this way. Really, I don't think I'll be helping you.
So you'll tell her to quit.
Not quitting.
No, there is
So-
something
Not
called
quitting.
Yes. Yes,
a
Linda.
break, yeah?
Yes, you need a break.
Okay.
It's
Yes.
the same God who wants us to forgive, and it is the same God who doesn't advocate for violence.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the only thing I can advise this person, number one, by the way, when someone is hurting, they are very vulnerable.
They are.
They can do anything and everything. So the best thing that you can do is give them usipeane advice. Listen to them. Let them rant and say what they are saying. Be there to support them, because that's one process, one step of getting healing, or getting towards forgiveness. So give them time so that they can talk and say whatever they want to say. But at the same time, when they are talking, they are human. We are emotional. Let it come out, and you, as the sober person, please pray for this person, because we all need forgiveness. In the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 14, it's the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive. You see, this thing, I need to forgive for me to get forgiveness from God.
Or because you are forgiven, you are forgiven, you also forgive.
Yes.
Yes.
She's right, but I'm looking at the situation where it is that serious. Some end up killing their spouses.
Yeah.
What would be wrong if I advise that please separate a bit?
Yes.
Yeah, get a break.
And that is what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Forgiveness does not necessarily mean that you stay in that
Exactly.
house.
Yeah.
You can forgive, but because of this situation, you can easily stay apart.
What about these pastors who say we only know how to join, but we don't know how to separate?
But you see,
It's about
It's
you.
not about
Yeah.
leaving each other. No, it's
it's
just
Christ who died for us
right.
because
Not
of love.
Yeah.
No, you can't die for
For
Martin because of
Nancy,
love.
you can't.
You're not Jesus. Let me read something here.
Yes.
Forgiveness does not necessarily mean reconciliation with the person that hurt you or condoning their action. What you should be after is to find peace.
Yes.
Forgiveness can be defined as the peace and understanding that comes from blame, not from blaming that which has hurt you less, taking life experience less personally, and changing your grievance story. Yeah.
Does it confirm that second chance is now in doubt?
No,
No.
second chance is there, but it doesn't mean that if you hurt me, I must come back to you. There's the aspect of me releasing you, staying at peace.
Yes.
That's forgiveness.
That's
Yeah.
releasing. That
I release that. Now the pain that came with the heart, I change it so that it doesn't hurt me. I'm
Meaning
at
we
peace.
can forgive
And
even
when
when you are apart.
Yeah, you
And when
forgive
you're
when you are apart.
we are
Yeah.
still forgiving.
And when
Especially-
you're apart, it
Yeah.
makes you, it gives you time to even
Reflect.
reflect. You know, like, okay, now Nancy did this, you know, what can
So
I do
sometimes
better
maybe
next
you can
time?
get someone who hurts you so much, but you cannot come back together. There are situations like
Yeah.
that one.
In fact,
So you only let go, forgive, then it's not necessary that you have to come together.
Yeah,
The
but
part that
you've
you've
given them
already
a second
released that
chance.
person, yeah, you've given them
In
another
fact, I've
chance.
witnessed
Yeah.
a situation where the offender himself is the one even opting to leave. Please, I've offended you this much. Let us part way. Let us have time to think about it. But I've witnessed a situation of that kind.
Yeah, yeah.
Guys, we have still not even talked about why we should forgive.
Yes.
But it has come out. But I want us to discuss it in an in-depth way so that he who has something in his or her heart, that is now King James, he who has something in his or her heart
Yeah.
will realize that indeed I am not hurting the other person, but I'm hurting myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes? So forgiveness is big, but it begins with you.
It
Yeah.
begins.
The process
The
of
one who is
forgiving,
offended.
yes, the one who is offended. And we've looked at the biblical perspective.
Yes.
Now, as we are taking a break, when we come back,
Still come back to
give me the Lord's why you think it is important for us to
I will
forgive.
give you Matthew.
I know. On that note, dear viewer, we are coming back. Stay tuned because we want to talk about how or why we should forgive. I will say again, everyone deserves a second chance. But from this discussion, it is coming out clear that sometimes, or rather most of the time, because we are human, it is not very easy. But it is possible, right?
Yes.
It is possible. Now, before we went for the break, we were talking about just now bringing in why we should forgive. Because it starts from me. Why is that important?
I wanted to share something on Matthew, chapter 6, 14, 15, on the Lord's Prayer. I want to give you one spiritual benefit of forgiveness.
Okay.
When we pray the Lord's Prayer, we hold ourselves account to forgive others. When we repeat Matthew 6:12, which says, "And forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors," we are asking God to offer us forgiveness in the same manner that we extend forgiveness to others. So then, if we are unforgiving to others, we are literally telling God to treat us in the same way. So forgiveness promotes inner peace, deepens our spiritual experience, and makes us more Christ-like.
Have you ever heard, guys, someone saying, I will never forgive,
Sure.
Yeah,
never forgive?
yeah.
We have all said that.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
One,
We have-
yes.
Yeah, we have said that. But I think that time, when we're saying that, we are still angry. We are so angry. Martin has broken my heart. I'm so angry at Martin when I see Martin. Man. You know? So that is the time, when, especially when it is still fresh. That is when you say, I will never, never forgive. So with time really heals, sincerely. Time really heals. And with time, as if it's intentional, you have to decide it. Like, hey, you know what? Dave has hurt me and I have to forgive. You have to be intentional about it. Then it will.
Time heals.
Yes.
It's very interesting. Anyway, we'll come to that. Because I don't know whether when time is given to take care of second chance, I don't know whether the outcome will be that good. Back to your question.
She talked about, is it you? Yes.
Yes.
Linda talked about vulnerability,
Yeah.
especially during that time.
Yeah.
But go on.
Okay, back to your question. What are the benefits of forgiving? To me, before you forgive, it's like you are loaded. You are carrying a very heavy burden. Your heart is so heavy. In fact, the one suffering is not even the offender, but you who is offended. So when you forgive, it's like, it's a relief. It's a relief. And when I forgive you, to me, as a Christian, I also feel that I've won you now.
I like that.
We are now together. We are now moving together. So it's just inevitable. We have to forgive. But time, I love that. That there comes a time when we just give it time. Give it time. It can even go and die without uttering a word of forgiveness. There are some who've never pronounced this word, I've forgiven you.
Let's go.
But in a situation of this kind, you just find themselves shaking hands, and that brings everything to an end. So I think time heals,
times,
the way you are saying.
At times, it may not even be possible
Yeah.
to meet this person to say,
For example, if you held a grudge and someone already passed,
He's dead.
someone has already died, Amma is dead. How do we approach such kind of a situation?
Another reason why we should forgive is because, you know, when we choose our battles and it is sorted, how do you feel? Sincerely, you look back and you're like, you feel so good. So we should encourage each other to give, we should encourage ourselves to give each other a second chance at the end of the day to feel better.
yeah, to feel better.
What if I forgive her because I can't do without her?
I like that. That
comes
also
a
makes you
time
feel
when
better.
We are maybe 3 or 4 in the house.
Yes.
Only say we are 2.
Yes.
Our children are not there.
Yeah.
I have no option. I just have to forgive her because I can't do without her.
Circumstances.
Yes,
forces
circumstances
you.
forces us.
But is that coming from the heart?
No.
No.
Yes.
No, I think it also comes from the heart.
You know,
No.
there are
Yeah,
situations.
for example,
Ni kama kusema, it's
Yeah.
like saying, pole basi.
No. Let's take for example, Linda and Dave.
Yes.
Could be you. Yani, the relationship that you have is beyond. Let me say it's beyond love. I read somewhere where it was being said, it is beyond love. It is friendship. Yani, there are other things added to it. That if you don't forgive, in fact, it will be more
harmful.
hurting and even the casualties. By the way, remember the casualties. You have children.
Yeah.
Your pride can make others who are not even interested, who are not even involved, suffer for no proper reason. I think God saw the precious creature he created. God saw a very precious gift in man. And this is what made him say, or think that I can't do without this precious gift of mine. I have to send my son Jesus Christ to come and die. He could not do without us, in quotes. I'm not saying
Yeah, I understand.
God cannot survive without us. But we were that precious to him that he was ready to offer anything possible to bring us back to himself.
Nancy, do you
So at times I can't simply do without her. That makes me now
When
overlook.
It is beyond love.
Yeah, it's beyond love.
You give a second chance.
Give us a second
Nancy, how does it feel when he says that?
Yeah, when he offends me and apologizes, at least I get relieved. Yes, and from there, I also forgive. And we move on as a family.
What if I don't apologize?
If you don't apologize,
But some action.
maybe it will fade with the time, but it will hurt me inside. Yeah.
So if we don't forgive, we continue to be hurt.
Yeah.
We are not at peace.
Yeah.
There is something about diseases and forgiveness. You got it?
Let me read something. Research. It's in research. Research has shown a lot about your physical wellness and association with diseases as a result of holding grudges or not forgiving. So let me just read something here. Ongoing research suggests that nursing a grudge can place the same physical strain on the body. For example, tense muscles, elevated blood pressure, increased sweating. So additionally, these research outcomes continue to suggest that psychological repercussions such as resentment, anger, guilt, and anxiety were very common in people who are unable to forgive. So sometimes you might be going to the hospital treating some diseases. But then at the end of the day, I think there are some physicians, when you reach at that point when they've used all the drugs on you and you're not getting well, they will send you to a counselor so that you are able to forgive, and by the way you come back. So there's a connection between you not forgiving and the diseases maybe you're bringing back.
But some doctors are very smart. They will ask you, are you sure you're not holding a grudge?
There are some who will also ask you,
are you sure you're not holding a grudge? Please let it go. So second chances are key, even to our health.
It's important.
I
was almost going to ask, what if it is impossible to forgive?
What if I cannot forgive?
What are the effects? What if you can? Is there something that you cannot forgive? Again, Nancy as Nancy the wife to
Martin,
and not Nancy the Christian.
I think we have just to forgive one another. For the life to continue, we have to forgive. I don't see anything hard that can make you not forgive.
But there's a viewer there sincerely. Let's call a spade a spade. There's a viewer there sincerely.
Doesn't even know
who is has been hurt, and we cannot pretend. So I think we need
That's
to.
for her.
That can you talk to that viewer who has the husband has been cheating all the times. They have had this conversation, and he's continued to cheat. He's been so. Let me talk, even like being rude, you know.
No, just that example. So that we maintain. I'm tempted to answer in this manner. Forgiveness is not about correcting someone's wrongs. Because I have forgiven my wife. She's unfaithful. Tomorrow she does it. I still forgive her. Then now I'm saying, now this forgiveness is not working because you did it, I forgive you, and there is still this problem.
Aspect of 70 times 7.
You literally count.
My thinking is, because at the point that I'm not forgiving, I'm not thinking straight.
You're still hurting.
But Linda comes and then we talk about it. It is important for me to ask, what is it?
What is the problem?
Exactly.
Yes.
Where is the problem? Because we cannot just sit here and say, forgiveness will solve everything.
No.
Forgiveness will just solve that stone, so to speak, that is making you even to resent more, is making you to be silent, is making you to cry and regret. But it makes you come out. Now you can tackle this together and seek for help, like she's talking about a counselor.
Let me add something to the viewer out there. Forgiveness, it's a journey. You need to take one step at a time, because there are some instances that will take you time. It is still okay. But at the end of the day, when you have God, He will help you. Let me read for you. The author of this book has very good things. So maybe there are 4 reasons.
Maybe you should tell us
which book.
Which book
the
is
name
this?
Of the book.
The name of the book is The Power of the Healing Power of Forgiveness by Sharon Platt MacDonald. It's a very nice book. So just let me just read something. What if I cannot forgive? That's what I want to him or her. It says, if you tell yourself that you are unable to forgive, you are effectively causing the following to happen to you. Number 1, not forgiving someone, the hurt they caused you is like picking up a heavy burden each day and carrying it around with you wherever you go. That is point number 1. Number 2, by carrying a grudge, you enable the offender to keep on hurting you.
True.
That is number 2.
Why it makes this other person feel like, I mean, we need to talk about it and stop.
Point number 3 is the negative feelings that harbor when you fail to forgive will eventually lead you to negative behaviors, which will be a reflection in your thoughts, words, and actions.
You'll always be angry.
Yeah. And the last one is when you hold on to unforgiveness, it leads to unresolved negative emotions.
Yes.
These can also present themselves as psychological ailments, what you were saying, such as raised blood pressure or increased heart rate or tensed muscles and other stress-related problems. So I know it's a journey. I don't blame anyone. It's okay not to be okay, because it's a process that will always overcome. So keep on, just hold on and know that it's one step at a time. One step.
Yes.
This is a disclaimer, Martin, before you speak, this is a disclaimer that the viewer, probably there is a viewer out there who has high blood pressure. All
does
these
not-
conditions
Yeah.
does not mean that you will not
Yes.
forgive.
Yeah.
That is, no, we are not doctors. We are just reading from
But when
this.
you've not forgiven, it comes.
But when you have not forgiven,
when you
yeah,
have that.
you are likely
Right.
to get,
Yes.
you are likely to suffer that, because we are talking about the effects of not forgiving. Yes, Martin.
Yeah, I think we are giving hope to the families, and I really appreciate the author. But there's a point I also want to put across. I know we are not theologians, but in the book of Romans chapter 6, Paul is talking about grace. Are we to continue sinning so that the grace of God may abound? Then he says, no.
God forbid.
I think that when I offend someone, or when I'm offended, and then I observe some adjustments from the offender. You see, we are not also just calling for blank forgiveness without any proper system in place. Because Jesus is saying, when I'm offended, I'm the one to go to the one who offended me. Okay? There comes a time when I can be offended by someone who does not even realize. But after some time, he has no guts to come to me to tell me that I offended you. But he's adjusting. This is very common in our families. And most of men, I'm one of them. Rarely do we say, forgive me. I don't know whether we see it as a weakness, but my wife can just see the adjustments I've made, how I'm trying to at least adjust.
But what if there are no those adjustments or signs that show that
in
you're
fact,
forgiving?
that's the way I'm leading us to.
Yeah.
Because there are those who are just adamant.
Yeah.
They'll offend
The
you,
pride and
come
the
back, offend you,
arrogance.
or maybe think that you are a Christian.
Yeah.
You'll never
Yeah,
forgive.
I like that. Yeah.
Most of if
Taking
you have a
advantage.
soft spouse, she will never forgive me. Let me just continue doing this. That is not good also. That's not biblical.
That is not.
Because grace is there pursuing us, even to come to repentance. And you see, this grace cannot follow you all the days of your sinful life.
Yeah.
There comes a time when many have even lost their lives.
Yep.
When they take grace for granted, not forgiveness for granted. Yeah. So I would also advise the viewer that whereas we call for second chances, but even the one being offered that chance, at least try to adjust. You are not perfect, but try to adjust. Thank you.
And there is
Yes,
this
ma'am.
situation where maybe I'm offending somebody, yet me personally, I don't know, and I can't realize that the person is being offended. And maybe the person himself doesn't speak out to tell me that what you are doing is offending me. How do you tackle that situation?
Jesus said the one offended
Should
go
Yes.
to the offender. The
I've
offender may not
offended
know.
you, but
Yes.
for me, I don't see that as
an
offense.
The one who is offended should go and say,
You know
You
what?
have offended.
you have offended me.
Yes.
I think that is important because, you know, some of us,
Yeah.
we
don't
talk a
know
lot.
that.
We are different.
And we end up saying things that maybe are beyond hurtful to the other, but yet we don't know.
Yes.
Then it is this person who is hurt to come.
To come.
In fact, if you do that, it is more powerful than the person who offended.
Right, right. Yeah, there's an incident. A friend of mine came to me and she was like, Tabi really hurt me. Like, okay, when? You said this. I said, oh, you mean you got, I sincerely didn't mean it to come out
I was
that
just
way.
joking.
And you sort
But
it out.
the best thing you say, if that person has said that you offended me, But for real, they are offended.
Yes,
so what you do is
yes.
not me.
Yeah.
What you need to say is, I am sorry.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Don't do it like
And we are-
I didn't know it.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, oh, I sincerely did not mean for it to come out that
Intent,
way, but we are now best of friends. Why? Because a person who comes to you like, this is what you did, is better off than the person who just...
Let me
Question.
This one.
So even
Question.
in marriage, we should not wait for us. When a spouse does something, knowing or unknowingly, it's important to go and talk to them and let them know, hey.
Now, I want us to move to the next bit, and Linda has just shown me something, which is, you know, I think we are wired the same. Go ahead.
Yes.
Now there is a question here
Yeah.
asking, am I supposed to forget
Forget.
as well as forgive?
Okay.
Let me read some points. It is impossible to truly forget
Yeah.
wrongs that have been committed against us because we cannot selectively delete events from our memory,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So the brain is like a computer. It absorbs data, put into thoughts in neurological writing, that is the neurons, and stores in a hard drive, that is the network of the interconnection neurons, which is technically like a computer memory. So it is clear then that we are biologically wired to remember.
Right. I totally...
So forgiveness does not necessarily involve a literal forgetting. Forgetting may not be realistic or desirable goal. Forgiveness involves remembering in a different way.
Wow.
Now that is, you reframe or repackage the experience in a different way.
Yes,
That's
yes,
how
yes.
that's how forgiveness comes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have talked about forgiveness. We cannot extensively do so. But the little we have, is it possible to give hope?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's now talk to our viewer.
Why it's necessary to
Someone
forgive.
who is sitting there and probably thinking that whatever Dave did, whatever Linda did, I cannot forgive. Please, let us help this viewer. Let me start with you, Nancy.
For the viewers, I can say we have to learn to forgive, because in life, if we forgive, we get relieved and we move on with our lives.
Thank you. Now, to me, I believe forgiveness is a big virtue. And in fact, dear viewer, you are there surviving because you are forgiven. If you didn't forgive, then I think you are even undermining God's saving grace. We have to forgive our spouses, for our families
And powerful.
to go through the tough times we are facing today. There are temptations here and there. It is difficult. Some are economic, some are financial, some are emotional. Along with that, we need support from each other. Forgive. Thank you.
No, we are not winding up, but we are giving
Yeah.
I will come back to you for your
Yes.
parting shot. Tabby,
Yeah.
let's give hope.
Hope is key because God has put families together for a reason, dear viewer. And second chances we were given by God. If you don't give your spouse a second chance, that means your marriage will end. And that was not God's goal. God's goal was for man and woman to be together, whether it is for good or for bad. So I want to encourage dear viewer out there that whatever the situation, do it for you. You have the key. Do it for you, for your health, for the well-good of your family. And God will bless you.
Okay, thank you. Linda, I think you'll read this.
Let me just read this one. I'll read another thing. The forgiveness journey may be a long and arduous one, but it is a road that eventually leads to freedom. It's freedom from bitterness, freedom from endless emotional strain, from spiritual stagnation, and from social handicap that can shipwreck human relations.
Bitterness.
So we need to forgive because eventually when we are praying, forgive us as
Our
we
sins.
forgive those who trespass against us. We need God to forgive us. We also need to extend that forgiveness to others.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nancy and Martin,
Yes.
is it true that you are here 15 years? You've been together for the past 15 years because of learning to understand one another, learning to give second chance?
Yes.
Number one is grace. To me, I say it's by grace. 15 years is not a mean achievement. And I think God has been on our side. We have challenges. We are on earth. Remember, we are not that perfect.
Yeah, we are human.
But by God's grace, we've made it this far. So it is our prayer that God gives us a forgiving heart. That our second chances, in fact, I'm not talking about second chance. Let them now be second chances. That these second chances be limitless.
The way God
Yeah,
has
that is my message.
Okay, you see, the idea of a second chance was that it is this one, not the many others.
That's true. You
Okay.
don't
It's
count.
this one and not the many others.
What about the coming one? We don't expect the coming.
we are human beings.
Yeah.
Tabby, you have been with Richard for the past
23.
23 years. Forgiveness.
You have to carry it a load of, like how many kilos? You have to be ready to forgive all the times. That should be your number one goal. Because he will hurt me and I will hurt him. If you're not ready to forgive, I don't know. So that has kept us going, sincerely. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. And we also forgive by example, by action, and by saying, by talking about it. Yes, because there's things that you really need to just talk about. And there's some things that you really need to actually, with the action that will also show that you're forgiven.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Linda, now you can read that bit.
I forgive because of my own peace.
Yes.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
important.
That is key.
That's
That
it,
is-
by the way, whether they accept it or not, but do it for your own sake. Now let me read something here. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is discord, union. Where there is error, truth. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. You can still choose to forgive. I know it is a journey, but God is going to take you through.
Thank you so much. I have learned that forgiveness has more advantage on my end than the person I'm supposed to forgive. Lady or gentleman, it is important for us to forgive for your own peace, borrowing the words from my dear wife, Linda. Thank you, and thank you, Martin and Nancy, for joining us. Thank you, our viewer, for watching. Keep watching because there is more coming. Asante sana.